Today we're going to be talking about what it means to be bold. And I mean bold, like convicted bold. Like, you know for a fact that you are going to get your manifestation no matter what. You know for a fact that the world is going to conform to you no matter what, because that is the only story. How do you become bold? How do you become convicted? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Hey guys, what is good? My name is Autumn. Welcome back to my channel, and I'm here to teach you how to assume the position of who it is that you want to be, because you are the only thinker. All right, so you guys, thank you so much for being here. Oh my gosh, on the last few of my videos, I've had so many emails of you guys asking me how to create imaginal scenes, and I've had quite a few inboxes of people asking me emails asking me to help them to do a end scene for them or an imaginal scene for them. So you guys, there were so many that I decided to offer it for you. So I will definitely give you guys that information down in the description box below. I have probably already posted it on the community tab before you see this video. So just go over to my community tab if you would like for me to help you form your end scene and to give you a few affirmations to go with that along as well. Go ahead and check that out. All right, so today you guys, we're going to get into it because today I went on a walk, and the word that kept coming to mind was brazen. Brazen. And I knew I heard this word before because I know it's from Neville Goddard's Brazenly Impudent speech. And I want to talk about the word brazen for a minute, because brazen, when I went and looked it up, it means to be bold without shame. And I love that so much. And the one story that came to mind, I'm going to tell you guys a story from this, what it means to be bold and convicted, because a lot of people think that if you force and you just say, I'm convicted, and you put a lot of emotion behind it, that means you're convicted. But there's a difference when it means that you're coming from pure conviction, because when you are coming from pure conviction, you are being the source. You know that you are the source. You know that there is no other person that can oppose you, that can deny you. But when you are looking at your situation, looking from where you are now, and then projecting onto the situation that you do not like, that it is going to change, and you're demanding that change without knowing that you're the source from which it came from, that's where you are lacking in that conviction. That's why you never fully get it. You don't believe. So I'm going to tell you guys a story here of what it means. But first, I actually want to read a passage from Neville Goddard's lecture here. And he says, prayer is like brazen impudence, for the imperative passive mood is a standing order, something to be done absolutely and continuously. In other words, thy will be done becomes thy will must be being done, and thy kingdom come becomes thy kingdom must be being restored. And I love that so much, because it really is telling you to adjust your thinking so you will not take no for an answer. So no can never be in the equation, because you're the only one putting the no there. All right, so I'm going to share with you guys this story of what it really means to be convicted. Now, I was 21 at the time, and at this time I worked in Macy's, and I worked for Lancome Cosmetics. And so I had this random idea one day that I wanted to become a makeup artist solely on my own. And I had already done clients for here and there for friends and whatnot, but I decided I wanted to make it like a side thing. And then my first thought was I wanted to add airbrush to my skill set. So there was this one company out in California that I knew that I wanted to learn from, because they were leading in the bridal industry. And I was like, man, you can make good money for bridal. And so at that time when I worked in Macy's, I only got paid to, like, I want to say $275 to $300 a week. So I knew I wasn't making much, but that thought never crossed my mind. The only thought that I had was, I know I need to take this class. And so I booked it from a month out, and I didn't know how I was going to do it, because I only put the $500 deposit down on the class, but I still had bills that I had to take care of back in Florida. And I also needed to come up with the other $500 in cash to pay for when I got to the 3-day class, because the class was $1,000, and I still had to book a hotel. I still had to do all these things. And I went on ahead and I just reserved, and I went on ahead and somehow I paid for the hotel already, because I already knew I was only staying 3 days. And so I went on ahead and paid for the hotel with my savings, and I put the deposit down. Now, I only had the the extra 500 and something dollars to pay, plus I needed to eat and I needed to have expenses in case there were things that were coming, you know, like I needed to be like accommodated or whatever. So I knew in my mind that I knew I needed the extra like 500 something dollars, but I didn't even think about it. All I could think of was my end goal was me doing makeup, having my own business and doing bridal, that sort of thing. And so on the weekends at Macy's, we would take clients, right? And there was this one particular client that I had seen 3 times before, and she was just a lovely lady. I didn't know too much about her. She didn't know too much about me, but every time she came in, we would chit chat, and she was just the sweetest human being I ever met at that time. And so she came in that Saturday, I want to say after I booked the initial, you know, down payment on the class, and I was like, I know I'm gonna go. I you know, went on ahead and purchased my flight, all of that, and I did all that for my savings. I drained out my savings, you guys. And so I told her about it because she had actually brought up, oh, you ever think about doing this for a career? And I told her, I was like, yeah, actually I'm gonna go on this trip. And I told her about the trip or whatever. I didn't tell her about like the finances or anything like that, but I was just like, you know, I'm just so excited to go. And she was so excited for me. We left it at that. And just for the next 3 weeks, you guys, I just really focused on maintaining what I had to take care of at home. I didn't think about how that 500 something dollars was going to come, because all I was thinking was, no, there is no other way. I know I'm going to get that money. I know I'm going to get extra money too on top of that in order to enjoy my trip as well. And so I just went with that thought. I was just so convicted. I don't even know where it came from, the desire. I was just like, I'm just going to go. I'm just going to do this. And I just automatically did it. And I just trusted that somehow the money was going to come. All right. So it was the day before my flight, you guys. The day before my flight, I still did not have that money, and I still didn't have money for food and just in case any other expenses. Of course, I was going to get paid while I was there, but I still needed to pay rent back home and do all the other things and pay my car note, right? So I was just like, okay, like I don't know what I'm going to do, but I didn't even get scared, not once, you guys. Through the whole thing, I never got scared. I just knew for somehow that money was going to come. And so I went through the whole day, the whole work day, and I got off at 9 p.m. right? So I go, I'm walking to my car, and then the lady, she pulls up, the lady that I was telling you guys about, she pulls up and she said, hey, I wanted to catch you actually before, you know, the store closed, but I'm sorry I'm late. She's like, but I have a card for you to thank you for actually doing my makeup. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, I just thought it was just like a nice little card or whatnot. And so she's like, enjoy your trip, and I hope that you have the most amazing time. And she's giving me all these like, you know, affirmations of how well I'm going to do and whatnot. And I just thought it was so sweet that she would stop by to give me a card or whatnot. And so when I got in the car, I opened the card and I read the card, and then I noticed that the envelope was a little thick. And so as soon as I opened the envelope, it was $1,000 in there, you guys. And I had silently said to myself earlier that day, I said it would be nice if I received $1,000. Like I said that throughout the day when I was working, I was like, I know I only need 500 or something, but I still need money to eat. I still need money for this, still need money for that. I was like, it would be nice if I had $1,000. That way I could pay for the rest of the class, and then I could at least relax and enjoy my time in LA. And this lady, $1,000 out of nowhere, you guys. $1,000 out of nowhere from this lady who does not know anything about me, didn't know that I needed the $1,000, didn't know any of that. But it was my assumption that there was no other story. And it was my first trip going by myself to LA, and my mom and everybody was like, why would you go by yourself? I didn't tell anybody for a while. It wasn't until after I booked the flight and did all that, because it was just within me, you guys. I just knew that that's what I wanted to do. And there was no plan B. Like I didn't even have a plan B, even down to the day before when I knew I didn't have that money to actually pay for the rest of the class. I still was going to go, and somehow I knew that money was going to show up, you guys. Like I just knew that's what it means to be brazen, to be bold without shame. I didn't think about what I had already had or the money that I made. I knew the money could possibly come from anywhere, but I was not thinking and making decisions based off of who I was or what I had. I was making decisions based off the person who gets what they want, that knows for sure that this is what I'm supposed to do and that there is no plan B. That is the difference, you guys. Making your requests bold without shame, that you're not thinking about what you lack. You're not thinking about what happened in the past. You're not thinking about anything, any lack, anything that has happened previously to you before. You're assuming the position of being the source from which it all comes from, because you are. So there can be nobody else opposing you unless you decide that they are, okay? And so that's what it means to be bold in your statement, in your affirmations. And I want to reiterate to you guys, it's not you looking at your situation trying to change the situation. It's you looking at you saying, I am the source, and I know within me there's the way is there. So I have to tune into the only reality that I am assuming. And that's it. I'm not assuming that there's no one that could tell me no about this, or there's no one that can come, do this or do that, because then that means that there's somebody else outside of you who has the choice to decide for you. And that's not what it is. You are the only source. With God, when you are linked up with God's source, all things are possible. But when you are looking at yourself, the little you, with what you already have, you're only going to be basing it off of the past and what the results you've gotten before. But you need to be bold in your request, standing up as the source, and know that nothing can come against you when you are assuming and deciding from that place. All right. So you guys, I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I truly enjoy making videos for you guys. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If you are new and you like this video, like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the description box below for sessions, phone call sessions, email sessions. And if you would love for me to help you make your imaginal scene with the affirmations, go ahead and find it in the description box down below. If you're listening over on my podcast, thank you so much for joining. And once again, you guys, imagination is always on your side, and I am too. Bye.